Batman arrives at the murder scene and he takes some skin cells from beneath the victim's fingernails, hoping that this would be a short case. But they come back, and he knows this is going to be an all-night-long case. The skin beneath the fingernails is Dick Grayson. Batman then uses his holographic technology to view the body that is in the city morgue, and he calls up Dick Grayson to try and figure out what's going on. But Dick Grayson has an actual reasonable explanation for this. He explains that a week ago, this guy grabbed his arm scratching him, and warned him that they were all coming for all of you. Nightwing says that he wrote it off as a religious zealot, and with nothing to go on, Batman has to stand there and wait for the assassin that is apparently going to come and kill him as Bruce Wayne in 12 hours. Not one to shy away from his responsibilities, Bruce Wayne meets up with a friend of his named Lincoln, who's running for mayor. They have a discussion in which Lincoln tries to convince Bruce to give him his future vote in the upcoming election. And when Bruce can't decide right then and there, Lincoln mentions something very interesting. That Bruce may need some allies in the upcoming months. There's an evil returning to Gotham, an evil older than anything. Bruce will need allies against them. Bruce turns to Lincoln, shocked by what he's talking about, when the elevator opens and out steps Bruce's assassin. He immediately stabs Lincoln in the chest, and then he turns his attention to Bruce Wayne, and Bruce jumps right in. Though he has to hold back, because he doesn't know who may be wanting it. He doesn't want them to put two and two together and figure out that he's secretly Batman. The fight goes on for a second, but nothing that Bruce does works, even an attempt at crushing the assassin's windpipe. There must be something else going on here. And after telling him the Court of Owls has sentenced Bruce Wayne to die, Bruce gets kicked out of the window of one of the tallest towers in Gotham, the Old Wayne Tower. Now, the Old Wayne Tower consists of multiple rings built by his family, and each ring contains a gargoyle that will welcome individuals to Gotham through land and sea, facing the bridges of Gotham. Bruce's family has been building and rebuilding Gotham for decades, and this tower is a testament to what they've built. But it is also one of the tallest buildings, and there's no way that Bruce can save himself. And the assassin knows this, as he knows Gotham. But most people, including the assassin, aren't aware of the 13th gargoyle, the one that Bruce's great-grandfather built to welcome people by air. The one that is just high enough for Bruce to grab onto while the assassin plummets to his death. No one knows Gotham better than Bruce Wayne, but why did this assassin say that he was happy to kill another Wayne? And who the hell is the Court of Owls? There's nothing that Bruce Wayne doesn't know about Gotham. And how did the assassin just get up from that fall and take over the ambulance? Batman begins to go through all of the low-level thugs in Gotham trying to figure out who this assassin is. Who is the man dressed like an owl? While at the back end trying to figure out what's going on, Batman explains to Alfred that he just can't figure out who this guy is, and that this guy is trying to get Bruce to believe in the old folk song, The Court of the Owls. Now, since he said that he wanted to kill another Wayne, Bruce and Alfred decide to go through the Wayne family history to try and figure out who may have died suspiciously. And they can't find anybody, other than maybe his great-grandfather Alan Wayne, who said that the owls were out to get him, and he died by falling into a manhole cover. Bruce then goes back to visit with Lincoln to find out what he meant by the evil is returning to Gotham, and Lincoln tells him that somebody has been watching him. He woke up one morning to find an owl standing over a pile of bones. Lincoln thinks that something has returned to Gotham, and is finally taking notice of what Lincoln and Bruce are doing in their rebuilding attempts of Gotham. Well, Bruce realizes that his friend is becoming very superstitious of an old folklore tale known as the Court of the Owls. And his great-grandfather was afraid of owls, and he starts to realize, what would be the best place for an assassin to hide? Well, right beneath your feet. And Alan Wayne, he was so superstitious that he had the 13th floor of the old Wayne Tower sealed off to prevent the bad luck from getting out. But wouldn't that be a good place for an owl to nest? Or an assassin to hide out? Batman goes to the old Wayne Tower, and he blows a hole on the 14th floor to get into that little 13th floor pocket, and he discovers the assassin's hideout. He finds an odd and old-looking picture of people in owl masks, and then he called Alfred. He needs to know all of the buildings that are in Alan Wayne's trust that he's been building with that trust, so that he can go inspect all of their 13th floor. And what he discovers is that each 13th floor in the 20-something buildings in the Alan Wayne Building Trust is an owl's nest, an assassin's den, a home for the Court of Owls. And, in the most recent, he finds proof. A new photo, with a new group of men in masks, and a new assassin. The Court of Owls must live, and then the building blows up. Batman dodges the falling rubble, and quickly gets out of the whole building as it comes down around him. With that, Bruce Wayne pulls up the body of Alan Wayne, the last Wayne to claim that he was being chased by owls to see if his corpse can tell his tale. Did he die by falling in the sewer manhole as the coroner's report stated? Or perhaps it was the 50 stab wounds that Bruce found on his body that had something to do with it. Using this as his latest lead, Bruce jumps down into Gotham sewers, and he continues his investigation. He will figure out who's masquerading as the Court of Owls, because he refuses to believe that they are alive. He refuses to believe that there is something that has been operating in Gotham City this whole time, and he didn't know about it. Batman begins to poke around where Alan's body was found in the sewers, just looking, trying to find something to work off of, when our owl assassin breaks through the wall, grabbing Batman and dragging him down while removing his utility belt. Batman looks up, and he realizes that he's not in the sewers anymore. The TV screen over his head displays 3 people in owl masks, stating, "Welcome to the labyrinth, Batman." A week goes by, and no Batman answers the bat signal. Harvey Dent is beginning to wonder if maybe Batman is dead. The whole Bat family is off looking for him. The bat signal will continue to shine as a beacon that they know Batman is out there. But where is Batman? It's not like him to not return. Batman is still in the labyrinth. It's been a week and he's had no food and no water, and his only source of water is from an owl fountain of water. And he can't trust that source. He's starting to become delusional, paranoid, and he doesn't know what to do, because he can't find his way out. He does come across photos of every man that they have killed in this labyrinth over the years, hundreds upon hundreds of them, and a camera. But he won't become the next victim. He continues exploring the labyrinth until he sees them. The Court of Owls is right there. But they're not. He's hallucinating. This is Batman. He will find another way out. He will find the Court of Owls. Their tricks won't work on him. He invented the tricks. He goes deeper and deeper until he comes across some coffins with the photos of children on them. It's a story they're telling me, he tells himself. They're trying to tell me their story. And then he goes back to the room with the photos in the walls. Only now, it has his photo on the wall. A little farther in, he comes across an elderly couple. It couldn't be. Are they his parents? He can't believe it. How can they be here? And he runs over to embrace them. But then they change into a screeching owl and they attack him. What's going on? Is Batman losing his mind? It's the perfect time for the assassin to strike. And he does, stabbing Batman in the back. Time continues to pass in the real world, though, and the harsh truth is coming to everyone. Batman may not return. When the bat signal finally burns out, Damian pleads, "Please, Commissioner Gordon, get a new one. Now. Please." Back down below, Batman falls to the ground bleeding out, and the assassin explains, "Your body will be kept here as a trophy for the defeat of a valiant enemy. It is an honor, and there have only been 3 times before this that the Court of Owl has turned their victims into trophies. Do you have anything to say to this honor?" Batman drags himself towards the assassin and notes the ground, and he says, "You moved the camera." The assassin picks up Batman's body and says, "Fine. No final address. I present to you, Batman. How do you wish him to die?" As he holds Batman up to the Court of the Owls. And the court wishes him to be beat to death. So the assassin complies by punching Batman through a wall. Batman is defeated. He has no strength to go on. But then Batman sees it. A photo of Alan Wayne at the end of his life. After their torture. A photo of Alan Wayne begging. And Batman will not go down that way. He gets back up to fight and he exclaims, "I'm sick to death of owls!" And the assassin exclaims, "You dare!" And Batman replies, "Oh, I do." Batman gets his second win and he beats the tar out of the assassin, telling him, "You're nothing special. You're nothing more than a hired thug." He then goes back to the room with the fountain in it and he says, "You can't beat me. I am Gotham. Gotham is my city." And he tells them, "I took the potassium chloride from the camera that you kept moving. And it explodes real nice with the marble that you've made your fountain out of." And with that, he blows a hole in the floor and says, "I'll be back for all of you." The court then walks out as Batman leaves and sees their badly beaten assassin. They ask, what should we do with him? While they could just heal him, they decide to dispose of this assassin, because there are so many more that they can wake up. Batman crawls back to the entrance of the Batcave to be found by a panicked Alfred. He picks up Bruce and he brings him inside. And then Bruce sees something that causes just nothing but sheer fear in his eyes. And he screams, "No!" Because in front of him, it's the assassin once again. But Alfred explains that they found his body this morning and they brought him here. And he's very dead right now. Bruce begins to test the body to see how this man survived so much. And with Nightwing's help, they discover that there's a compound that the Court of Owls uses to reanimate the dead and then turn them into unstoppable assassins and put them back to sleep when needed. This assassin, he's Nightwing's great-grandfather. Bruce explains that it was Haley's circus that was supplying the assassins for each generation. And if he hadn't taken in Nightwing, Nightwing would have been the next assassin. But this isn't where our story ends. No, it's far from it. While Batman may now know how the Court of Owls operates and where their labyrinth is, the court was prepared for this, and they're tired of hanging back in the shadows, and they won't be disappearing for decades again. This time, they're here to stay. They want Gotham back. They want their kingdom back, right now. So begins the Night of the Owls.